Hello you guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. My name is Hallie. I'm so happy that you're here and welcome to Bookmas Day 1. I cannot believe that Bookmas is finally upon us. It feels like it came so fast, but then it also feels like I've been prepping for Bookmas for so long, so it's crazy that it's already here. But happy Bookmas Day 1, you guys. I'm so excited to be participating in Bookmas this year. I remember watching everyone post their Bookmas videos last year and I was just loving it, and I was so excited for this year when I would be able to participate. So I have so much fun Bookmas content coming for you guys this month. I'm so excited for you guys to see it all. I've been working so hard all throughout the month of November, so I'm so happy that we're finally getting started. So for today's video, we are going to be talking about all the books that I read in the month of November. I didn't really read too much in November because I was very busy working on Bookmas content. However, I am really happy with the amount that I was able to read, given like everything that I was also doing as well as reading. So we're gonna start off with my monthly stats that I'm trying to start incorporating into all of my videos. So this month I read 11 books total. 5 of those were really short little Christmas novellas, so it does make it feel like I read a lot more than I really did. But as far as genres go, I read 5 romances, 4 fantasies, 1 graphic novel, and 1 mystery thriller. I read a total of 3,055 pages, which is kind of crazy. Every time that I say the amount of pages that I read, it's like crazy because it doesn't feel like thousands of pages, you know? Another thing I thought might be fun to do every month is to look at the lengths of the books that I read, like what was the longest book I read versus the shortest book. So this month, the longest book that I read was 672 pages, and the shortest book that I read was 55 pages. And then lastly, my average rating for the month was 3.68 stars, which I feel like is honestly pretty good. It's really close to a 4-star. Overall, I would say I pretty much enjoyed all the books that I read this month. So now that we have our stats recapped, let's get into the books that I read, starting off with The Stolen Heir by Holly Black. It feels like I read this so long ago. I think I literally read this on the first book. Hello. I think I read this on the first day of November, which just feels like a year ago. It's crazy. I rated this 3.75 stars. Honestly, when I finished this, I was feeling like a little bit let down by it. I don't know what it was about this one. Like, I love the Cruel Prince trilogy so much. Like, every single one of those was a 5-star for me. I love the characters. I love the world. Like, everything about it was just perfection. It was super fast. Like, I flew through those books. They're entertaining. They're, just so good. Like, so I don't know if I went into this with too high of expectations, because it is set in the same world as the Cruel Prince trilogy, but it doesn't follow the same characters. It's set like years after the Cruel Prince trilogy takes place. It's like the same but different, but I did think about it, and I think that the main reason that I just didn't like this book as much is because I didn't really love the POV that we were in. So in this book, you're following a new character's POV like the whole time, and I don't know what it was about it. Like, through this book, I never fully connected to the main character, and so I feel like that is part of the reason why I didn't fully enjoy it as much as I like the Cruel Prince trilogy. I still rated it 3.75 because the plot was still really good. I like where the plot went, and also the ending of this, like in true Holly Black fashion, there was a great, little plot twist at the end, and it kept me engaged in wanting to read the second book, but I just didn't like it as much as the Cruel Prince trilogy, and I think it's just because I didn't like the POV that we were in. So that is the first book that I read, and then immediately after finishing that one, because I was feeling like let down by it, I immediately jumped into The Prisoner's Throne because I wanted to see if reading the second book would like increase my rating for the first book, and I wanted to see where the story would go. It's only a duology, so I knew after finishing this I would get closure, like I would be kind of done with this little story, and I ended up liking this one so much more. It was like night and day difference from the first book to the second book for me. I rated this one 4.75 stars. I don't know if it's also because like this book, obviously you're picking up basically like right where you left off from the first book, and like in the first book, because it's like setting up, you know, new characters and stuff, I guess the beginning did feel a little bit more slow because I didn't know the character, like we weren't in the middle of anything in the plot really, like it was just, you know, resetting up a new vibe, whereas in this book you basically jump in like right where the first book left off, and so from the very beginning you're kind of like just into the story and into the plot, and so I do think that that's part of the reason why I like this one more, because from the very beginning you're just like getting into it, you know, like you're in it, you know. I also think that a huge reason that I liked this one more is because in this one you get to see it from the POV of Oak, and I just think I enjoyed that so much more. Like, I don't know why I like didn't really love the other main character, because in this book I ended up liking the main character so much more, but in the first book I don't know, did not like it. But yeah, this one, loved it so much more. I love the way that it ended. I love where the plot went. I love the character development. I love everything about it. It wasn't, I don't know why it wasn't a 5-star. Maybe it's because I read it so close to reading the first book, and so that was still like lingering with me. I don't know what it was, but 4.5 stars, still a really great read. And honestly, after reading this one, I would still recommend it, even though I didn't love the first one. I think the story overall, together with the two books combined, is most definitely worth a read because this was so good. So after I read those two, I jumped into the third book in the Heartstopper, I guess it's just like the Heartstopper series. I was gonna say the Heartstopper trilogy, but there's definitely 5 books out, so I don't know why I was gonna say that. I read the third Heartstopper book. This series, I don't know like what it is about it, but this series is so like heart-wrenching for me. Like even when nothing is like happening, I just feel so emotionally connected to these characters. Like I honestly don't know why, but that is like a testament to how well it was like written, and I don't know what it is about it, but like from the second I started reading the series, I felt emotionally connected to these characters. And I love the way that this series touches on like very serious topics like mental health and eating disorders and relationships and figuring out your sexuality, like so many serious topics, but I love the way that it is written about it because it feels very realistic, but it doesn't feel super heavy, but it feels very informative. But I don't know, like I really love the way that everything is written, and I feel like, again, because of the topics that are broached in this series, it really hits home to me, as well as someone who has struggled with a lot of those things and still does struggle with a lot of those things. Reading about it and seeing it, it just like touches my heart, and I love these characters so much. I think I rated this one 4 stars. So far, I think the first one was 4 stars, the second one was 5 stars for me, and then this one was another 4-star for me. I cannot wait to read the next 2 books in the series. I think that she said that there's gonna be one more book that comes out or something like that. I'm gonna be so sad when it's over, honestly, because this series has quickly become like a little comfort read for me. You know, like I like to just lay in bed and like read it if I want something quick and easy to read before bed, because it almost feels like watching a cartoon. Like I love watching cartoons to fall asleep. It's like, I don't know, just very comforting, you know? So like reading these, sometimes it feels like watching a comfort cartoon, if that makes sense. So I don't know, I really love it. If you've never read a graphic novel before, I would highly recommend trying these out and seeing. I know that my library had the first 3 available on Libby, so you could, even if you have a Kindle, check your library to see if you could read them. But I don't know, I would highly recommend it. They're super quick and easy reads, and like I said, they go over such good topics, and the characters are just so lovable. Like, I don't know, I love it so much. And also, something that I noticed with the series is like the farther you go, you get such a good storyline with the side characters as well, which I'm really loving and appreciating, like getting to know the side characters more and like seeing what they're going through and stuff like that. So I'm really enjoying it so far. After that, I read Queen of Shadows by Sarah J. Maas. This was 5 stars. This was so good. Literally so much happens in this book. Like so much happens in Heir of Fire in this book that it feels like those 2 books could be an entire series, honestly. And I feel like the reason that it feels like just an insane amount of things happen in those 2 books is because there are so many different POVs that we are in. I don't think I've ever read a book that has like 3 different storylines all going at the same time, but I actually love it. I was very intimidated by it at first, and I didn't know if I would be able to like get into it and like understand it and be connected to it, but honestly, I am having such a great time with this. This world is like probably the most built up and like in-depth world that I have ever read so far, at least. Like, I kind of understand what people are saying now whenever they say that it's different than ACOTAR, because ACOTAR I feel like is more like character based and relationship based. Obviously there's a crazy plot going on over there too, but once you read Throne of Glass, I feel like it gives you a different understanding into like, okay, this is very much like world based, like there's so much going on. But then I guess, I mean, listen guys, I don't really know what I'm talking about still, but just going off of what I think, because obviously like you have a lot of character growth, character depth, like relationships going on in this, because you're following so many different timelines and there's so many different important characters that are playing parts into the story, and like, you know, like there's so many strings. Like this series feels like whenever people are trying to solve a mystery and you have like a board and there's like all the strings that are connected, that's what reading this feels like, because there's so much going on. But I would say that like, I feel like, and you can correct me if I'm completely incorrect, but I feel like this series is definitely more world-based than character-based, if that makes sense. And I'm eating it up. I'm loving it so much. I'm very excited to get to the tandem read. I didn't get to it this month and I'm so sad about it, but it's okay. But yeah, 5 stars, so good. So far, Heir of Fire and Queen of Shadows have both been the only 5 stars from the Throne of Glass series so far, so I'm very interested to see if there are any other 5 stars or if they will all be 5 stars from here on out. Who knows? After that come the 5 romance books that I read. I read these for a bookmas video actually that you guys will be seeing very soon. So I don't want to go too into depth about those because I am going to be talking about it, like I said, in that bookmas video. But they were basically a set of 5 Christmas novellas. It is Cruel Winter with You by Allie Hazelwood, Merry Ever After by Tessa Bailey, Merriment and Mayhem by Alexandra Bellafleur, Only Santa's in the Building by Alexis Daria, and then All by My Elf by Olivia Dade. If you want individual ratings and reviews, you'll just have to wait for the bookmas video for those, but overall I would give the little like Christmas novella series probably like a 3.75. I thought they were all, well, besides one of them. You'll hear about that later. But I would give it as a whole 3.75. I feel like all of them except for one were just like really cute. I feel like they put me back into the romance mood because I haven't really been reading that many romances. Like I've been just so deep in my fantasy era and honestly like mystery thrillers kind of. Like I just haven't been like leaning towards romances recently, and listening to those because they were all free on Audible if you rent them on Kindle Unlimited. So listening to all those just like really put me in the romance mood and made me excited to read some more romances. So I really liked those. Overall, like I said, a 3.75, really short and easy to get through and like cute for the holidays. I don't know, they were really cute. I'm really excited for you guys to see those in that video. So read those for bookmas, and then after that I finally finished Quicksilver by Callie Hart. This book for some reason I started like 2 months ago and then I just like never finished it, and so this month I was like, okay girl, you have to like lock in and finish this book, because sometimes I do that and then I feel like the longer it gets I kind of start dreading finishing it because I'm like, I don't know, if I take more than 4 days to finish a book I start to put it off. So I don't know what that's about, but finally finished it. I rated this 4.75 stars. I don't know why it wasn't quite a 5-star. I just like didn't get that feeling, but overall it was really good. I feel like it kept my attention and was like very entertaining from start to finish. Like literally you start the book and it's like action, you know? However, I feel like I wasn't super invested in the plot until like the very end of the book, like maybe like the last 150 pages ish, where there was a ton of plot development and it really set up nicely for the next book. I'm very interested to see where the plot goes in the next book because I feel like there's so much potential for it to have like such a good plot in the second book. So I'm really excited. The romance in this book, it ate the house down. It was so good. I definitely see the hype behind Kingfisher. We love him so much. It was so good. And this one, I did end up finishing it on audiobook as well because I kept seeing TikToks about how the audiobook was so good and it did not disappoint. It was so good. So 4.75 stars for that one. And then the last one that I have, I don't have the physical copy for because I rented it from my library and I listened to the audiobook. It is The Boyfriend by Frida McFadden. I ended up just renting the audiobook for this one because I've only read one other Frida McFadden book and I was honestly really disappointed by it. I mean, it was still like okay, I just was disappointed by the ending, I guess. I think I was also kind of like in my first ever book slump whenever I read it, but I didn't know that because I'd never been in a book slump before, so I think that might have severely affected my reading experience with that one. But I wanted to give Frida McFadden another try because so many people love her thrillers and rave about her thrillers, and she has so many of them. But I've just been really intimidated by them because I didn't have the best experience with her books the first time. So I thought to myself, you know, for the second try, since I'm a little bit intimidated by it and I was disappointed by it before, I'll just try an audiobook. Like I'll just listen to it, see how it goes, give her another try. And The Boyfriend, I think, is her latest release. So I gave it a try and I ended up rating it 3.75 stars. I liked this one so much better than The Housemaid. I don't know why, but this was just like so interesting. I loved the plot for this one, and also the plot twist at the end fully got me. I did not see it coming literally at all. It completely caught me off guard and I was absolutely gagged. There were a couple things with the ending that I didn't love, but that's like me being nitpicky to be honest. But overall, I really enjoyed it, and honestly, because of the reading experience with that one, I would definitely give another Frida McFadden book a try. There's actually one that I saw on my Libby that was available that I might rent. I don't remember what it's called, but it's about a married couple who goes to like see a therapist, and when they get there, something creepy is happening at the house. I don't remember, but I might give that one a try next because that sounds really interesting. But those are all the books that I read in the month of November. Not a super crazy reading month, but honestly, again, I'm super happy with it based off of, you know, how busy I was during the month. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you enjoyed the first day of Bookmas. If you're not already, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss all of the future Bookmas content I have coming up and just future bookish content in general. I would love to have you guys along with me, but that's all I have for this video. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you tomorrow for the next day of Bookmas. Bye!